let's talk about work I have had done and work that I probably wouldn't have done on my over 60 skin. So the first cosmetic procedure I ever had done was having my teeth capped, my top 4. I have really bad teeth, or I had really bad teeth as a child, and they were discoloured and they were crooked, and I had orthodontic work, and then everything went back to square one again. I used to wear lots of bite plates and all that, but I'm afraid nothing really changed, and my teeth not only were crooked, but they were a bit crumbly. They just weren't good quality, and it was probably down to the food I ate and all that kind of thing, and the dentistry that was around in the UK at the time. So as soon as I could, I had my 4 front teeth capped. So at least the top 4 looked good, and the rest of them could kind of fit in around them, so to speak. Now, I'm not going to give you a big grin because they're not that great at the moment. Well, I'll give you a little grin. There you are. So you can see they've had many crowns over the years since then. But anyway, that was the first thing I had done, and I felt so much better because I hadn't really liked to smile before, because my teeth, one went back, one was forward, one was yellow, one was another colour. It was just a bit of a nightmare. So that was my first sort of foray into cosmetic work that I didn't need, because my teeth weren't falling out or anything, but they did need straightening and looking nice, in my opinion. Then the second piece of work I had done, and that was funded by my grandmother, was my nose. So I had my nose shortened. Now, my mother had had her nose shortened in the States when she was about 15, I think, so surgery must have been well advanced over there than it was over here in the UK at the time, because we're talking, what, sort of must have been late 30s or something, pre-war. Anyway, my grandmother offered to pay for it, and I was delighted, because although I didn't hate my nose, it was very much my father's nose, as it were, just a smaller version of it, and it sort of drooped down a bit, and I don't know, I didn't like it, I didn't find it attractive, and I thought if my nose was shorter, my face would look a bit softer. Anyway, she paid for it, so I said, okay, great, where do I sign? And actually, to be honest, my dad had been a little bit cruel about my nose, and he had said that I could do with a nose job, as he put it. So anyway, it was in my mind, and yes, you know, I could have said no and all of that. But anyway, I said yes, and I'm very glad I did, because it's been absolutely fine ever since I had it done. And what it seems to have done as well is it seems to have lifted very slightly my top lip. I don't know if it's because it's slightly more sticky uppy, as it were, would you say, rather than being dangly, if a nose can be dangly. And I think it's made my face features look better. So I'm very pleased I had that done. I had that done when I was 22, I think. So again, a very long time ago. Now, after that, I had absolutely no cosmetic work done at all. So fast forward to 2011, when I'm in my mid-50s, and I decided to go and have some Botox. I'd read about this doctor, who shall remain nameless, in the West End, and she seemed to have very good creds. So I thought I would go to her for a consultation. So I went for a consultation, and I said, you know, can you do anything about these lines here? And she said, oh yes, Botox will do the trick, da 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 da. Anyway, long story short, went to her. Now, when I went for the consultation, everything was calm and nice and friendly and all lovely, and yes, we love you and please come and we'll be nice to you and all of that. And when I went back the next time, the waiting room was full of patients holding bits of lint to their faces and people going in and out, and it wasn't calm at all. It was really unpleasant. But anyway, she put the Botox into my forehead, and unfortunately all it did was give me a bit of a bump for a few weeks, and that was it. It did absolutely nothing at all. It's a bit trial and error, I know, but it didn't work for me, so I decided not to go back. It wasn't particularly painful or anything, but it just wasn't for me. So I gave up on Botox after that experience. And then the following year, I also had a cosmetic procedure, if you can call it that, and that was laser eye treatment. Now, that was a real game changer for me. That was absolutely amazing, because I was super short-sighted, or I felt I was. I think I was -5 in this eye and -6 in that eye. And I'd been wearing different strength contact lenses for a few years so that I could read with one eye and look at distance with another. So when I went to Moorfields, which is the top hospital in the UK for eyes, I ended up going back 3 times because I was too scared to do it the first couple of times. I just chickened out in the end. However, the 3rd time I finally bit the bullet and I said, right, I've got to get this done. And oh my Lord, it was amazing. It was really quick. It takes about 10 minutes, and then you've got a couple of days of not discomfort, but you're a bit sort of sensitive, and you know, I couldn't work, but I had it done I think on the Friday afternoon or something, and then so I was at home for the weekend. That was fine. I was back at work on Monday. I mean, it's just amazing. So no more glasses, no more lenses. Yes, I have to wear glasses for reading, but who doesn't when they're over 60? It's been absolutely fantastic. So a great piece of cosmetic work for me, and something that I'm so grateful I had the wherewithal and the finances to do. Now, a couple of other pieces of cosmetic work I've had done are removal of little lesions on my face. So, I mean, I have got some more now that need removing really, or they don't need removing, but I might consider getting them done. These little brown things here. I had a few sort of red ones on my nose which I had removed, and I've had that done about 2 or 3 times over the years. The last time was just before lockdown. And I might consider doing that again, but I am quite moly, and I do have these, I suppose they're lesions, or there are other words for them, I can't honestly remember what they are. I mean, these I think are sunspots of a kind, but they're sort of quite moly, and they're not the most attractive, but you know, this is something that we have to deal with as we get older, and of course when we sit in the sun as well. So I might consider having more of that done again, but that's probably it. Now let's talk about the cosmetic work I probably won't have done, and there are several reasons for this. And the first reason is really that if you look at the beautiful older actresses who we see on screen and on stage, and I'm going to put a few in the cutaways here, they may have had work done, but if they have, you can still see all their lines and wrinkles. And I think that's fantastic. It just shows you that you can look beautiful and gorgeous, and you can dress up to the nines and wear lots of makeup and look fabulous, but you've still got wrinkles because you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, you're in your 70s or 80s if you're Helen Mirren or Jane Fonda. That's what you're going to look like, and no matter how much cosmetic work you have done, you are always going to look wrinkled, because unless you have a complete facelift of some kind that literally lifts your skin up like this, as taut as it can be, it's just not going to happen. You are not going to be wrinkle free. That's one of the reasons that I wouldn't consider having a facelift, for example. I mean, I could do with one, because look at my droopy jaws, and actually I've had these droopy jaws for some time. Now if I go like that, you can see immediately how much firmer my chin looks. But if I let it down, it's droopy, and particularly here, they're sort of little, like, not saddlebags, but little sort of pochettes, I suppose you could call them, of skin that have drooped down. Now, as we know, gravity pulls down our skin as we get older. We have bone loss, we lose collagen, we lose elastin. So we are not going to look young when we're in our 60s and 70s. We're going to look wrinkled. Now, of course, there are lots of things we can do, and lots of women use retinol, and that's great. I can't use it. I'm allergic to it, unfortunately. My dermatologist said I couldn't use it, although I have tried on and off. But to be honest, I'm not sure at my advanced stage of 67 and a half, even if I found a retinol that worked for me, what is it actually going to do to my skin? It's not going to do this, is it? It's definitely not going to do that. So what is the point of me even using it? I think actually there's something to be said for, if you look at my skin, when I first wake up, it is quite red in parts. It's got redness. I don't have any particular massive health concerns, or I don't have any particular concerns about my skin. I don't have melasma, I don't have very bad age spots or scarring or anything like that. So I don't really need anything particularly strong, and I'm just not convinced that retinol is the right product for me, although it'd be nice to find something. Now, the other thing I was looking into recently, but I'm definitely not going to try now, and that is red light therapy. I think that's the one thing that I thought possibly might make a difference to my skin. So I looked into it, and it seems that a company called Current Body, who operate over here, and I think they do in the States as well and around the world, have this red light therapy, and you wear this mask. And Pampered Wolf's mum, so Pampered Wolf, who's on YouTube, her mum, when she was on one of her videos, said that it worked really well for her. However, she didn't say exactly what it did, and although I think her mum is about my age, if it's not going to do anything about this, I'm not really that interested. And it obviously isn't, is it? Because it's red light therapy. It can't lift skin that's sagging, can it? It just can't do that. So it might help with the redness a bit. But actually, to be honest, I don't really care about the redness, because all I do is put foundation on and it's gone. I don't need to worry about it, do I? So I am not going to be using red light therapy anytime soon. And to be honest, I'm not going to try any of the other masks or microneedling or other current type products, you know, those sort of Neras, is it called? I mean, I've watched Dr. Dre, and she says really the sort of nearer type one. Is it the one that smooths, the microcurrent thing? She said it works for about 5 minutes and then everything goes back to normal again. And she's probably about half my age. So I just think I'm not going to be trying any of those. Microneedling, I mean, why? Why would I do it? What's it going to do for me? Again, I just can't see it making a difference. Now, I haven't closed my mind to every single treatment because I would love to be able to find something that would do this, that doesn't cost an arm and a leg and doesn't involve incisions or operating on me. I would love that, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, there's all sorts of other cosmetic procedures you can have, you know, injecting you with all sorts of weird, wonderful things like Profilo and hyaluronic acid and all of that. And actually, when I looked at the list of things that were on offer, it was all sorts of, you know, taking blood from one part of you and injecting it into your face and all of that kind of thing. I just thought, why? Why would anyone want to do this? I mean, unless you have got some horrendous skin condition that can only be cured by doing this, why would you? I'm not in the public eye. I mean, I am because I'm on YouTube, but I'm not exactly famous, am I? And obviously I'm on YouTube because I'm a 60-something-year-old woman who wants to share my experiences with other 60-something-year-old women. I'm not here to say, look how amazingly young I look because I use this, that and the other. I'm here to share my experiences on what it's like to be a 67-year-old woman who looks like this. So I would not be considering any of these incredibly highly priced blood injections and all of that. That's just not for me. However, as I say, I'm not closing my mind completely to treatments because if something comes along that I think can make a difference to my 67-and-a-half-year-old skin, then I will definitely look into it. So there you have it. Those are the cosmetic procedures I have had done and those that I probably won't have done. I really hope this video has been helpful to you, and if it has, I'd be really grateful if you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment below. Now, I am really interested. What would you try? What have you tried? What's worked for you? What's really made a difference to your skin? If anything, I would absolutely love to know, because this channel is all about sharing knowledge with each other, and as we grow into old age, what works for us and what doesn't. And please consider visiting my website and signing up for my newsletter, where I share lots of other things about being over 60 and all that entails. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.